Security Committee and the Maritime Security Strategy, among others, in place. When we talk about the offshore measures, we are talking about physical patrols and using state-of-the-art electronic gadgets or equipment to also provide monitoring so that we know exactly what is happening along our maritime domain. Another critical function or mandate of the authority is that of inland waterways transportation. And under this, we are mandated by Section 22E of the Ghana Maritime Authority Act to regulate activities in shipping in our inland waterways, and also to ensure that shipping on our inland waterways is safe. Over the years, we have also undertaken a number of accident investigations that have brought to the fore some of the causes of accidents on our lakes. And these include hazards to navigation posed by the presence of tree stumps. So now we can move to the next slide. What's this? Now, the major projects we are going to dwell on today are: one, the removal of tree stumps from our inland waterways, acquisition of patrol boats for purposes of surveillance, and then acquisition of trash skimmers and vessels. Let's move on to the next. Now, regarding the removal of tree stumps in our inland waterways, apart from the human element, i.e. incompetency, overloading and drunkenness of boat operators, the main causes of accidents on the Volta Lake include the absence of defined safe navigational channels. The authority has therefore embarked on the removal of submerged tree stumps that constitute hazards to navigation. The main reason for removing these tree stumps is to create safe navigational channels in order to enhance safety of navigation. The authority has therefore selected some routes along the Volta Lake and undertaken this exercise of ensuring that we remove the tree stumps that I just spoke about. So in all, about 21,000 tree stumps from various routes on the Volta Lake have been removed between the years 2018 and 2020. So for the Dambai-Dodoikope route, about 2,200 tree stumps were removed. And the distance is about 2.5 kilometers. Then on the Yeji-Makango route, we have also, which is about 8 kilometers, we have done or removed about 3,550 tree stumps. On the Yeji-Awujakope route or channel, which is about 11 kilometers, 4,800 tree stumps have been removed. And the largest in terms of this exercise is the Tumpanja, Odiokope, Dambai, and Ninjari channel, which is about 30 kilometers in all. And about 10,490 tree stumps have been removed from that channel. Now, the slide you have shows you, first and foremost, the situation as it was before the authority decided to embark on the exercise of removing the tree stumps. And then the situation after the tree stumps have been removed. And then the equipment that are deployed for the process of removing the tree stumps, you find a shack engaged in the removal of tree stump to the right, top right corner. Then the last one is a picture of some of the stumps that were removed as a result of the exercise. At the end of the day, we'll be showing you a video that shows the appreciation of the people along these channels after these exercises were undertaken. In terms of benefit, we have ensured the safety of navigation on the Volta Lake. Again, we have been able to do this exercise to preserve some life and property. And we have also increased economic activity within the area. Why? Because in some of those places, while those of us in the cities have access to our business centers by roads, they have to go to wherever, whether it's the farm or to market centers, they have to use water bodies. So this has enhanced their movement greatly. Then the acquisition of patrol boats. The Ghana Maritime Authority operates the Vessel Traffic Management Information System, which is an enhanced electronic surveillance system capable of monitoring the entire coast of Ghana, including the exclusive economic zone and the water, using its integrated electronic detection and transmitting equipment. The establishment and operation of the VTMIS has increased the awareness of Ghana's maritime domain, and it's important to complement the operations of the electronic surveillance system with physical presence at sea by the operations of fast patrol boats within our anchorages, the territorial waters, and the oil fields in the exclusive economic zone. So so the picture you see now shows you some of the patrol boats. We have the Park Grant, with Corporal Atipo. Which one? Yes, we have the Park Grant, the Corporal Atipo, and then the Odatelanti. These are those that we could show, but there are others that we have not been able to show because of space. We have others created after the Kuno of Manya Krobo, Nenazmatekole, and then there's one that is also named after a chief in the northern sector of the country called Nab Ayeta Azantilo. These are all for patrol purposes. And then the next slide you see there shows how, together with some other stakeholders like the Navy, the Marine Police, and the Port Authority, we are able to embark on or conduct 24-hour surveillance within the ports and anchorages and the territorial waters generally. Yes, next slide. Yes. Now, as the minister mentioned during his intro, piracy has become a topical issue within the sub-region. The Gulf of Guinea has earned an unenviable reputation of being a hotspot for piracy. And I'm sure you have also heard of some piracy activities that border on our own territorial waters, that involve some fishing vessels. Now, to deal with this menace, the authority, together with other coastal states, have come together trying to find ways and means of curtailing the incidence of piracy within our territorial waters. One of the measures that have been put in place is the ECOWAS Maritime Security Architecture Stakeholders Meeting. We took place just about a few months ago in Cotonou. It was chaired by one of our own here from the Ghana Maritime Authority. Besides that, the authority has also engaged in a number of consultative meetings with the Naval Command with a view to finding common solutions to this problem of piracy. As part of our efforts to stem this tide as well, the Ghana Maritime Authority also held a meeting. The Ghana Maritime Authority and the Ghana Navy held a meeting with our Nigerian counterparts in Abuja about 2 months ago. And this meeting was actually at the behest of the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who had, before this meeting, had similar consultations with his counterpart in Nigeria, the person of the President of Nigeria, General Buhari. Following that meeting, he mandated or he directed that the Chief of Naval Staff and myself also pay a visit to Abuja to have similar discussions with our counterparts there, so that together we fashion out ways of ensuring that this threat of piracy is stemmed or controlled. Again, as part of the efforts to ensure that we deal with these piracy incidents, we have realized that our laws, as they sit on the statute books now, are not adequate when it comes to prosecuting piracy crimes. Sections 193 and 194 of the Criminal Offences Act have a certain gaps in them. So the last time we apprehended some pirates, the last time we apprehended some pirates, it became very difficult prosecuting them in the country because of the lacuna in the existing law. So what happened was that these pirates were taken to Nigeria to be dealt with there. Unfortunately, we have not been able to get anything meaningful out of that. And for any lawyer here, and as a lawyer myself, you know that it is very difficult if a law is not provided that deals with a crime. You can't be prosecuting somebody when you don't have the law to deal with him. So together at the authority, together with the AG's department, what we are seeking to do is to amend sections 193 and 194 to bring them in line with modern trends, so that when pirates are apprehended within our territorial waters, we could effectively deal with them. So this is the slide you are watching, shows the meeting we had with the Chief of Defense Staff and the Chief of Naval Staff at the Military High Command in Burma Camp. With me is my deputy, Akosa. Then the next slide also shows the meeting that was held in Abuja, at which we reached some understanding between the two countries in terms of how to deal with the piracy menace. And then the last picture there shows the meeting that was held in Cotonou to fashion out strategies by coastal states to deal with the piracy threat. The next thing we'll be looking at is the acquisition of trash skimmers. The amount of plastic litter in the marine environment is rapidly increasing and negatively affecting marine life, biodiversity, and human use of coastal and marine resources. There is large global concern and urgent need to develop concrete action plans to remove plastics and other marine debris from the ocean. It is for these reasons that the Ghana Maritime Authority, acting in accordance with the provisions of MAPOL Annex 5 and Chapter 6 of the Maritime Pollution Act, has acquired aquatic and trash skimmers to help address the plastic litter issues and marine debris in our waters. So the picture on the slide shows you the trash skimmers that we have just taken delivery of. They are just about being assembled so that they could be deployed to help us in executing the mandate of ensuring that we keep our oceans clean. In conclusion, we are poised to perform our regulatory function effectively. And in recent times, you'll recall that the Secretary General of the IMO, in the person of Mr. Kitak Lem, visited Ghana. And when he came around, he was full of commendation for the things that we are doing in this country to ensure that with the safety and security for shipping within our waters and to keep the oceans clean. Besides that, we have also put in place measures to ensure that the maritime domain is secure, safe, and free from marine source pollution, while ensuring an environment that promotes growth for national economic development. And we have a short video that will summarize all the things that we have just said. So if Mr. Honorable Minister, you would indulge us just about 3 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Published under Act 630
of 2002 and was charged with the high responsibility to monitor, regulate, and coordinate activities in the maritime industry in Ghana. These include mandatory tasks of ensuring safety of navigation, flag state and port responsibilities, maritime search and rescue, and regulates shipping activities, including the safety of navigation on inland waterways.
In line with this, the authority used part of its internally generated funds to remove tree stumps from the Volta Lake and the Oti River, which over the years have been the cause of boat accidents and unfortunate deaths of Ghanaians. More than 20,000 tree stumps on a number of routes with vast economic, social, and cultural importance have all been removed, paving the way for the people living in these areas to engage in meaningful economic activities and to commute safely. Between 2018 and 2019, the authority contracted the Kitekrachi Timber Recovery Limited for the removal of stumps on the 2.5-kilometer Dambai Dodoekope, 8-kilometer Yeji Mankango, and the 11-kilometer Yeji Awujakope routes. In 2019 and 2020, the Ghana Maritime Authority also paid for the removal of these dangerous stumps from the Dambai Injari 18 kilometers to Mpunja Kudokope 5 kilometers and Kudokope Dambai 7 kilometers. Opinion leaders, boat operators, and commuters have all praised the Ghana Maritime Authority for the removal of the stumps. The Chief of Injari, Nana Kweku Intemelesu I, expressed gratitude to the authority when members of the board and management of the GMA, led by the Director General, Thomas Kofi Alonsi, visited the area to assess the work done.
The mandate of the Ghana Maritime Authority, among others, includes ensuring that there is safety of navigation as far as inland waters, transportation on inland waters is concerned. That's why, realizing that these tree stumps pose a serious risk to people who commute from the lake, so we decided to come and have them removed.
Local boat operator at Kudokope Tekikwesi said his business has improved significantly.
Particular, but yeah, crossing, Omonya Tundiano, but yeah, fair enough, and Namno. In the Badia fair in Namno, or Hona, Yana Yako free the Becofe for the mine, or Hona, Yana. But a business to me free baby. Omoba market. And the Omono accident here, it may happen because of Indiano. Omobomo in the Nanti, Indiano. But she say, Omo Indiano, in Sunusuno, say, young. African Indiana multitude, a very boy, Yana, you boot, and I'm saying, San Najo, my friend Najo, Navy for my I didn't try because of Indiana, but at this time, the air was in a I say no more almost Indiana.
When the trees are in the water for the previous years, it becomes difficult for canoes like this to travel. And even the fishing aspect at times becomes difficult for the farmers, I may say it, of course. Because at times they do have difficulties with their nets. Because if the net is cast in the water, before they pull it out, they may either be pounded with some of the trees. So by pulling it out, you see that the net will turn. And they will find it a bit difficult to go home and now prepare it before they will come back to their normal way. For now, as I may say, it makes the whole place very clear for traveling and other farming activities, because this is where we do our normal farming system on the water.
The Ghana Maritime Authority also procured from its own resources speedboats to help patrol Ghana's waters and conduct search and rescue in the country's exclusive economic zone. And this has made Ghana's ports and the maritime industry some of the most attractive on the continent. With these boats, the Ghana Maritime Authority undertakes night patrols on the seas to make sure that Ghana's ports retain their reputation as the safest in the sub-region. The Ghana Maritime Authority has also declared war on illegal fuel bunkering and has made some arrests. The authority is now seeking legal backing to destroy locally made wooden boats used in this illegal fuel business, which is depriving the state of colossal amounts in taxes and levies.
Honorable Minister, that is the end of the video. We are most grateful for the opportunity provided.
Thank you, Mr. Alonsi. Thank you. And to your team and yourself at the Maritime Authority, a human's job you are doing there. Colleagues, it's a good time to take your questions. So if you give me an indication, I'll send the microphone to you, and then we will have your questions. I'll go to Sarah first. She's the first female with her hand up. No, go to Sarah first. Yes. Are there any other ladies? Shika, you have a question? Yes. And then after Sarah, come to Shika. Then you can wait for a while. Yes, Sarah, let's hear you.
So, initially I wanted to find out the period within when the exercise was conducted in removing the trees from the
lake, yeah.
Yes, but from the video I understand 2019, 2020. I want to find out, is it a one-time thing, or there is a part, there's a plan to remove other trees that may be in the river. You talked about the human activities also causing the accidents reported on the Volta Lake. What percentage did the human activities contributed as well as the trees, if we can get that, and how significantly it's going to reduce by this exercise? I also want to find out, you mentioned a couple of meetings that have gone on both outside the country regarding the piracy issue and the lacuna in the law that you are hoping would be amended for the issue to be addressed. Is there any other decisions taken in fighting this piracy, especially now that we are recording some in our waters, apart from the lacuna in the law that we are expecting to be removed? I mean, from the meetings that you've had. And then finally, we want to find out, we understood Ghana was going to have the open registration of the ships, the fishing ships in the country. Can you tell us if it has started in the prospects? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Open registration of ships as well. That was your third question. And if I may be allowed to comment, it's interesting to note when you see questions that are well researched, there's a strong background, not personal opinions. And we encourage that a lot. Shika, you have a question? Yes. So let's bring the microphone to Shika. Then after that, we would we'll deal with the men.
Mr. Alonso mentioned that.
You have a question? Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Alonso, in part of his presentation, mentioned an intention
Shika, we can't
to
hear you. Please speak
amend
up.
the Constitution. I want to know if you can give us the
Amend Act
Constitution.
29.
Yes, of the
Amend Act 29.
I want
You were
to know
scared
if
when
you
you
can-
said amend Constitution. Yeah, amend Act 29.
Right.
Go ahead.
So I just want to know if you can give us some timelines. And then also on the removal of tree stumps, if you can give us the amount that went into that operation.
Very well. Very well. Is that Della? Okay. Della has a question.
Yeah, Mr. Alonsi, my issue has to do with the law that you are trying to amend. And from the draft that I have seen, at least the little I have seen, I noticed that it has no duration, that time limit within which the authority is supposed to respond to applications. And wouldn't that have...
Applications for what?
Yes, on shipping, like when people are apply for licenses. And wouldn't that have implications on the cost of shipping? And then also about issues of waivers.
About issues of what?
Waivers.
Waivers.
Granted by the authority. It looks like the new regulation is situating so much power with the DG, and such wouldn't it be appropriate to get those reviewed so that maybe instead of the DG being the sole person to do that, rather a committee will be in charge to review those things?
And this is included in a draft of a bill,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay, I'll get your response. Are there any other questions? I'm looking out for the ladies first. Okay, so you hold on. Let me take responses to the ladies' questions and then I'll come to the usual suspects. So is this tree stump removal exercise a one-off exercise or would it be followed up? Can you give us any data on the percentages of accidents that are as a result of human inefficiencies and what was being caused as a result of the tree stumps? Beyond the attempt to amend the law, Act 29 for example, is something else being done on the anti-piracy agenda? And while at that, Chika has a question on, are there timelines for this amendment of Act 29? And if you have an update on the open registration of ships, if you have answers on costs, and then the last questions on the draft bill that she has cited.
Okay, so I would attempt to answer some of them, and then some of them, my technical people would also assist. The first question regarding whether this is a one-off event or it's something that we intend to continue. First and foremost, let me indicate that it's a very capital-intensive activity when it comes to removing these tree stumps. So you need a budget to be able to do that. Besides that, we have a number of requests that have come from various communities along the Volta Lake who also have this situation of not being able to go about their daily chores or engage in their economic activities as a result of tree stumps posing a danger to the movement of boats. So having done with this, we are in the process of putting together the necessary resources so as to go in to do some more. So yes, it is not going to be a one-off event. It is a process, and depending on the availability of resources, more channels will be, tree stumps from more channels will be moved to enhance the safety of movement for people who live along those places. In terms of the lacuna you spoke about, I mentioned in my presentation that we have identified gaps that makes it extremely difficult to prosecute them. That is why we are doing the amendments. Yes, besides the amendments that are being done, there are other things that we are looking at. And I indicated that coastal states have come together through various fora to discuss measures of dealing with this piracy menace. For instance, we are looking also at implementing to the full the convention, the provision in the SOLAS that allows for hot pursuit. The hot pursuit would, if we are all countries within the sub-region agree that this should be implemented to the full, that means that when we find pirates in Ghana and we pursue them and they even move into Togolese waters or Benin waters, the authorities from Ghana who are pursuing them could still pursue them and then until they are finally apprehended. Now we are confronted with issues of sovereignty. Beyond our own territorial waters, when you pursue them, you get to the end of our territorial waters, you are compelled to retreat. And then they have a field day. By the time you call neighboring countries to assist in apprehending them, they perhaps would have sailed off into the crevices in some areas in the delta, and then your exercise would have been futile. So yes, the various meetings that we have held are all geared towards fashioning out other strategies to augment the fight against piracy. So it is not just the law, the amendment of the law. There are other things that are on the table. Then on the issue of the open ship registry, I call on the member of the committee that dealt with that to give you details. But for now, what has happened is that the committee has submitted its report. The report would have to be submitted to the board for consideration. And then a decision will be taken whether to go ahead and do what is recommended in there. The management of the authority doesn't have that power to go ahead and implement those recommendations because they border on policy, and you require a board approval to do some of the things that have been suggested in there. So, Captain, is there something you want to add? Okay. Then, in terms of the amendment, there was this question as to whether there are timelines. Yes, we had given ourselves some timelines to finish with this, but unfortunately, we have had some new developments. There are views to the effect that instead of just going in and amending section 193 and 194 of the Criminal Offences Act, we should have a comprehensive Maritime Criminal Offences Act. And the AG's department has brought something which we have presented, a draft which we have presented to the consultants we're working with in terms of the amendments of section 193 and 194. So very soon there will be a stakeholder meeting to look at the draft that has come from the Attorney General's department, and then we push for that comprehensive bill which we think would inure to the benefit of the industry more than just looking at the amendments to sections 193 and 194 of the Criminal Offences Act. The last question, one of them was whether there are limits in terms of time limits for application for license. And I think the captain will take that. And the issue of waivers, I'm not going to handle that myself, since you are thinking that the Director General would have too much power if that's left in his hands. So, Captain, the Director of Technical, the Technical Division would take those ones.
Right. Thank you so much, Honourable Minister, and our friends from the media. With respect to the waivers, as the Director General has mentioned, that's coming up in a draft regulation that we have. That is the cabotage. And in the cabotage, we have some waivers, but it's mainly, the cabotage is mainly to preserve the trade, the local trade of shipping to Ghanaians. But the waivers come in when you don't have competency or the type of vessels that we need to undertake such activities. So there will be a waiver in there. But with respect to the covering of Director General in the cabotage bill, or the regulations, sorry, it was presented before the Parliamentary Select Committee, and there were stakeholders who raised this, and it was clearly addressed. The Director General is not a personality. He acts on behalf of the Ghana Maritime Authority, and the Act has given him that mandate. Act 63330 of the Ghana Maritime Authority has given the Director General this mandate to act on behalf of the Ghana Maritime Authority and not as a personality. Thank you.
Are there any further answers you have for us?
Is there something we have skipped?
No, are there any further answers you have for us?
No.
Then we'll move to the next batch of questions. I'll start from GNA, so 1, 2, 3. So let me take these 3 and then I'll get responses, then I'll come this way.
I have about 4 questions. So
GNA.
To indulge me. My first question is the 21,000 tree stumps. I want to know the costs that the nation incurred or Ghana Maritime Authority incurred in removing those things.
I thought you spoke to the issue of cost already. Did you?
No, I think that one was.
Okay.
The cost was not mentioned.
Okay, so costs of tree stump removal.
Yeah, so then my second question. On 5th of July 2019, one Emmanuel Essien, a fishing observer on Chinese vessel Meng Z15, was reported missing. And this issue has been lingering on for some time, and you have not heard much about it. The family of Mr. Emmanuel Essien has been demanding about his whereabouts. So if the GMA can give an update, because you are in charge of ensuring the welfare and protection of Ghanaian seafarers, so I think it is within your domain to answer this question. Then my third question. Ghana is losing between $14 and $23 million every year, according to Environmental Justice Foundation. It's an NGO interested in the fishing sector. Ghana is losing between 14 and 23 million every year because of licensing fees and fines being evaded by some shipping vessels. And according to them, some Chinese vessels use Ghanaian agents to front for them to register. And so they tried to circumvent the law, and Ghana lost this huge amount of money. I want your comment on how to deal with this issue so that you get the foreign vessels registered to get the right money for
how to deal with the reported evasion.
Yes. Taxes. Then my next question. Ghana is also losing about $50 million every year through illegal fishing activities being embarked by these Chinese vessels.
This is according to who?
According to Environmental Justice Foundation, this NGO interested in fishing sector. How are you dealing with this illegal fishing activities?
The amount again?
$50 million every year.
But the question is, how are you dealing with illegal
fishing?
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So the question is, how are you dealing with illegal fishing?
Yes, so that we get the right amount of money for the economy. Then you also said one of the issues.
Now you've done more than 4 questions.
This is also very critical.
No, I'm saying now you've done more than 4 questions because you said you had 4. So let's go to number 5. You had it. Don't worry.
You said apart from during your presentation that in removing the tree stumps on the water lake. Another thing that you observe is that some boat operators drinking. And I was surprised that how do you allow people to drink and use this thing? And so I want to find out, how are you monitoring those people who are the boat operators from doing something illegal to cause danger to people? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Those are 5 questions from the Ghana News Agency. Very well researched as well. There were 2 hands there. So again, we commend you. We like well researched questions. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Paul Nyojo Dalafo.
You have to speak up, Paul.
Statesman. I want to find out from the Director General.
Which media house, sir?
Statesman.
Statesman. So speak up, please.
You said you are championing the cause to destroy some of the wooden boats during your presentation.
No, they said they are looking for a legal mandate. Is that not what you said?
Yes.
They are looking for a legal mandate so that they can destroy wooden boats that are being used for fuel bunkering. Is that not what was said? Yes, I think I heard it too. Go ahead.
It's as equal to championing the cause to destroy them.
Go ahead. I'm not arguing with you.
I want to find out from him. Some of the wooden boat operators are mere fishermen who has nothing to, or who are not able to patronize the services of the high ranking or the others, patronize the services of others. So what is the...
Come again. You said some of these boats
are just mere fishermen.
The owners?
Yes.
Some of the owners of the boats are fishermen?
Yes, who are not able to patronize the high-powered one that may be recommended for them. What will be their fate if they are destroyed?
Okay, hold on. The reason for which I was being specific about the words that they used, it wasn't about arguing with you. It was because they said they were looking for a legal mandate to destroy wooden boats that were being used for illegal bunkering.
And
so
not
it's not about fishermen. Okay. So your question is, they are doing the illegal bunkering because they can't afford other boats?
Yes.
That's why they are committing illegality.
I'm trying to find out from him what will be their fate if that is done.
What is the fate of the owner of a wooden boat that is being used for illegal bunkering? That's his question. Yes. Am I capturing your question well?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You have a second question? Okay, you are done. Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm Franklin for Home-Based TV. And Mr. Alonso, you showed us about 5 boats, patrol boats. I want to know if they are only there to keep surveillance on avoiding pirate activities, or also to check on recalcitrant indigents who throw or dump refuse into our water bodies. Thank you.
So can they also deal with sanitation issues, or they are just dealing with surveillance for... Yeah. So let's take this 5 + 1 + 1, and then we'll come this way.
Yes. Thank you very much for the questions that were asked. On the issue of cost, What I can tell my brothers and sisters gathered in here is that the exercises that were undertaken are not entirely done with. So we are not able to give you the full cost. There are little things that are being done. As soon as that is done, the cost of the projects will be made available. Then on the issue of one Emmanuel Essel, who got missing or purportedly got missing while discharging his functions on behalf of the Fisheries Commission, we have our acting director in charge of Maritime Services Division here, Nana Kwabna Bwampong. That falls under his purview, and he will take care of that.
Nana, where are you? Can we bring the microphone to Nana quickly? Where's the microphone? Let's bring it to Nana for a quick response.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Regarding the issue of Mr. Emmanuel Essien, who was deployed aboard a fishing vessel by the Fisheries Commission as an observer, we have had engagements with the family. What happens under Ghanaian law is that to declare somebody dead, you should produce the corpse of the person. Currently, the corpse of Mr. Essien are not available. Investigations are inconclusive, and so we have not been able to pronounce him dead. But subsequently, we have had engagements with the Fisheries Commission about how to deploy these observers going forward. But we are still in contact with the family. Thank you.
But I think
and
we
then
should explore
under
that
Ghanaian law.
No, please. I think we should explore that a bit more, even on behalf of my colleague, the journalist. So, when an observer is reported missing, or when somebody is reported missing, whose mandate is it to investigate and validate that, first of all, that is true, and then the follow-up actions? Can you help us?
The Marine Police is responsible for such investigations.
So in this instance, has the Marine Police done an investigation, and what is the conclusion of their investigation?
The investigations have not been concluded, but they have undertaken some investigations. It is still ongoing.
Does it mean that they have not been able to validate the initial claim, or they have validated it, and they have not been able to establish his whereabouts?
They have validated but have not been able to establish the whereabouts of Mr. Essien.
And when they are done with their investigation, then what will happen?
When they are done with their investigation, the report would be forwarded to the Ghana Maritime Authority because of the maritime space, and then a final determination would be made as to.
So is it fair to assume, as I know, that the Ghana Maritime Authority is not seized with the matter because it is still being investigated by the Maritime Police? Is that fair to say so? Or
currently we do not have the full report of the Marine Police, and that is why we have not been able to.
Do you have any follow-up on it? Yeah, quickly.
The officials, what has happened to the Menzi, the Chinese vessel? Those who were in charge of the vessel, what has happened to them in helping getting to know the whereabouts of Mr. Essien?
The vessel was initially detained. When the report came, the vessel was detained, and the vessel is still at the fishing harbor.
As in the Chinese people on the vessel, who he was supposedly working with under observation?
They've all been investigated. Everybody on the vessel has given their statements.
Do we know whether the Marine Police has them? I mean, this is not the Ghana Maritime Authority, but we know whether the Marine Police has them in custody or not. Do we know?
We don't know. And initially they were in custody, but as of now,
we don't know.
Tell.
We have to follow up with the Marine Police. So let's make a note. Let's get the Marine Police, and then let's get a follow-up on it. I think it's a very solid thing. We have to get a follow-up. Chief,
so
back to you.
Just to add a little to what he said regarding the missing person. So it's a matter that is still open. They are still investigating it. The family visited the authority a couple of times, and you know, by the laws of the country, until after 7 years, he cannot be declared dead. So for now, he still remains a missing person. Then again...
Yes, but DG, if I just may come in there, I don't want to drag this matter, but it's not so much about declaring him dead. It's also about holding the persons that he was with accountable, correct? Yes. So I think that is where the focus is.
That's important.
We probably have to get
statements have been taken from them, as the acting director has said, and I think they were subsequently released on bail. But the ship was actually detained, and the captain and his crew were actually taken in and detained for a while, and statements taken from
But to determine the current status, GNA, I think what we'll have to do is that, and we will help you to do this, let's write to the Ghana Police Service, Marine Police Division, asking for a status of that. Right now, there's also right to information. We can, invoke all of these ones and get some information. BG, please go on with the other issues.
Yes, then...
How do you deal with reported evasion by foreigners who are using Ghanaians as their fronts?
The director technical...
Captain. Please bring the microphone to Captain. Then there's another question. How are you going to deal with the reports of illegal fiction? Is that to Captain as well?
He would handle.
Captain, it's your birthday today. Please bring him the microphone. He has some questions to answer.
Thank you once again for asking this important question. With the IUU, that is illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, it is a transnational organized crime, and not only in Ghana. But we, being Ghanaians, should deal with what is pertaining here. The registration of a vessel has certain components, or the provision in the Act shows who is qualified. It could be a solely owned Ghanaian company or a body corporate. And most of these people who come to register these fishing vessels are in joint corporation, and this is part of what is happening now. We ask for their certificate of registry, business, incorporation, and other things, and they produce them. And these are valid from the Registrar General.
Yes, Captain, but again, sorry to interrupt you. When people want to use others as front, they will provide valid certificates. But it is turning out that people are using others as fronts. So the fact that they may provide valid certificates in and of itself does or should not end the matter. The question is, are you seeking to remove the veil and unmask who is using these persons as a front and exact some sanctions? That's the question, correct?
Well.
Yes, that's the question.
Thank you so much. This is a fisheries, Minister of Fishery and Aquaculture Division. We do not go ahead to do that. We get the license from the applicant, which has been issued by the Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture before they can do any importation of the vessel. So the license from the Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture is the basis, which shows that...
Yes, fine.
And
then the second question was about...
how to fight IUU. Apart from, this was the first part, that was the registration. But with the IUU, we have certain provisions in the laws that should prevail. And that is why there was a question about the patrol boats that we have acquired. It's not only for maritime security, but part of these illegal activities, including IUU. And I'll just answer that question again by saying that what we use the patrol vessels for are not security, but IUU inclusive, search and rescue, inclusive, that is when there is a distress at the sea.
So it has multiple uses.
Very good. And MAPOL, the prevention of pollution at
Thank
sea.
you. Thank you, Captain.
Then the issue of evasion of taxes.
Evasion
of taxes says some people are evading
evasion of fees. But I think both fit into the answer that he gave.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But again, before you go, again, there's a quick follow-up. The fisheries minister will be joining us for a press briefing. What Captain is saying is that that question is a policy question. And so I would just like to advise, let's make a note of it. Let's ask the fisheries ministry whether they are doing anything to deal with it from a policy point of view, and then they can move into implementation. Because for them, once you provide the prima facie evidence, they are satisfied. if the policymaker wants to make a new policy prescription to deal with how people are, you know, fronting, it's a question that they should answer. Did you? We're back to you, and then
yes, and then the last one was on one of the causes of boat accidents.
Yeah,
the human element.
Are you monitoring in any way?
And yes, we have teams along the Volta Lake, and they worked with the Navy, and in ensuring that in terms of overloading, it is checked. And then this issue, anything that poses hazard to shipping on the lake. And he specifically mentioned the issue of drunkenness. Just like the drivers, you know, the man may set off from Accra to Cape Coast. And not like in the olden times when one had to visit a blue kiosk to get something to drink. Now the things are carried in packets by way of sachet. So the man along the route, after he has left where he loaded from, takes his thing. And then when an accident occurs, he's examined and he's found to have been drunk. You see that it's a bit difficult to say that that particular issue can be checked. But it has been identified as one of the problems, drunkenness.
Are you saying that the Marine Police, first of all, is there Marine Police on the Volta Lake?
No, on the Volta Lake we have the Navy, we have a naval task force that work with the GMA.
Okay,
to check.
But there's no Marine Police there?
No, they haven't extended the activities there.
Okay, so the Naval Task Force, are you saying that if they have cause to suspect that there's a drunken, is it a pilot? Are they called pilots?
They are called boat operators.
Okay, so there's a boat operator who is drunk and is operating. They will not arrest?
They will. But the point I'm making is that in view of the fact that it has become easier.
Into the microphone,
In view of the fact that it has become easier for them to carry these things that make them drunk, it is very difficult checking it. So he could leave the beach area or the loading area looking like any of us. But midway, it happens. It's like the issue of jackets that we give to them. Before they leave, they wear them. And as they move on, they remove them.
Then I guess the feedback is that we need to step up surveillance on some of these boats. Elsewhere in the aviation industry, they'll put air marshals on some of these aircraft to ensure that surveillance is improved and safety is improved. So I guess that would be the feedback. If they are doing it, then we have to find ways of surveilling.
The numbers are a lot. We are in the we have started establishing offices along the lake. We have done 2 now, Yeji and Dambai, and we have a number of personnel there. As the numbers increase, then perhaps we are able to do this. Besides 2 of the boats I mentioned, one of them is going to be stationed specifically there to ensure that sometimes we pursue and see what they are doing when they take off. So that has been
very well. There's a question, I think, from Statesman. So what is the state of an owner, or what is the fate of an owner of a wooden boat being used for illegal bunkering?
Yes, my brother, just as we have in the fights against Galamsey on land, it's a similar thing out there. For I think the best response to this would have been to decommission those boats instantly. But the lawyer in me suggests that we should first of all get a course to give us an order to deal with this situation. Other than that, I think once the craft is engaged in an illegal activity, I think we should all be concerned with decommissioning them. However we do it, is to ensure that they don't go back there. Besides, the boats that are used for this activity are not what you are thinking about. Boats that are for
fishing.
Fishermen. No, they are huge
There's a
vessels.
photo of one of those boats. Can you load it up on the screen?
We showed one of them. These are vessels, boats specially designed to take about 3 tankers of fuel. They call them dandy. So this is not what a fisherman can afford, a small fisherman you are concerned about can afford. These are people who are organized, who are engaged in organized crime of a sort. They build these purposely for smuggling of fuel. And therefore, I think we should not be worried about decommissioning them.
There's a photo on the screen. If you
there is one I'm standing by.
Yes.
If you can show that this is one of them, show them the one I'm standing by.
Yeah.
They are able to take about three tanker loads of fuel.
Thank you. We'll go to the last one. You know, like in South America, they design some of these boats for cutting cocaine across the borders. So it's not about the fishermen who want to do genuine business. These are people who are specialized in the craft of illegality. And they are looking for the legal power to destroy that one. There's a final question from home base, surveillance. So these boats, are they for surveillance only? But I think it's been responded to. So we'll take a final batch of questions from here. I see Nanes and there's a lady. Then there's Ghanaian Times, right? And then a gentleman at the back. So I'll take you. Then I'll see if I can give my ladies an opportunity to come back. There was a question by one lady you didn't respond to. The time limit to respond to applications.
Applications?
Yes. I don't think you responded to that one earlier.
Permits, for permits. Said
Yes.
whether that time limit.
Yes. If you can do that quickly and then... So let Captain do that and then I'll start off from the back and come forward. Yes, quickly.
With respect to applications for permits, we have a procedure which is on our website. You submit the application and then we vet it. And I think within one week, you will be able to get your permit, depending on your ability to go and pay the fee, which is done in the bank, and then you come back with it. You get it within 1 week.
All right, thank you. And by the way, you see that boat there? The height is actually way above that of the person who is standing. That shows you the size. There's a lady here who has a question. Let me take her first, and then I'll go to the back and come to Nana. Yeah.
I'm Faustina Safo from Joy News. My question has to do with figures. You made mention of the acquisition of patrol boats for surveillance, but I want to know, between the period of 2018 and 2021, how many of these vessels or boats have you actually taken delivery of? And what
taken delivery of?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And what did you have in stock previously? That way we can get to know the impact of these new vessels and what they are bringing on board, and how much did it cost us? As well as the acquisition of trash schemers, I wanted to know how many you've taken delivery of, which areas are you deploying them to, and then how much it cost us.
So how many trash schemers have you taken delivery of? Where are you where are you deploying them? And can you tell us about cost? All right. Yes, there's a gentleman at the back, and then I'll come to Nana.
Honorable, good morning.
Morning.
Pastor Femi Opokumi from Kingdom FM. Pastor, my question here about piracy. Mr. Alonso has not come out in Shisham to help keep piracy. What's my chief? Or my been arrest so far these pirates now?
No, okay. Someone arrested be na no to me prosecute until some dom call Nigeria.
But me per se the number of arrests
total number of arrests.
And I be him for no mum free fan. Yeah, the chrome free so I arrest you.
Okay. So do you have an update on the perhaps the impact since you started these patrols, the total numbers, etc. Nana?
Yes. Okay.
Nana, let me hear you. Then I'll go to Ghanaian Times. Yeah.
Good morning, Honorable Minister. My name is Nana. Yeah. My first question has to do with you did mention the fact that tree stumps were the major problem for the boat capsizing and things. Now, are you, having removed the tree stumps, are you going to buy new pontoons to be used on the water? Because most of them are very old and are very dangerous, because people have been complaining. Those over there have been
As in, is the Ghana Maritime Authority going to buy new boats?
Pontoons on the water lake.
For the private people or for the state?
I don't know what it is. If the state buys, or is it
it's the mandate of Volta Lake Transport.
Okay.
That's what our mandate.
And then I also watched
Are you talking about the state pontoons?
Yes.
Okay.
I also watched a documentary where water hyacinth has taken over portions of the water lake. Having removed the tree stumps, what are you doing about the water hyacinth as well? Because there's also an obstacle for easy movement on the water lake. Fishermen have been complaining about the hindrance they face as a result of this water hyacinth.
Water what?
Hyacinth. It's a type of grass.
Oh, okay.
And then my third question, the tree stumps are removed. You did say that they have commercial value. Are you going to leave them to the mercy of the locals, or you are going to sell them to offset some of the debt you have incurred? And which company did the removal of the tree stumps on the water lake? Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so we'll take...
yes, we'll start with my friend from Joy. Yes, in terms of vessels for both search and rescue and patrols, before 2017, the number was 0. We didn't have any. It was after 2017 that 5 patrol boats were acquired, and then 2 search and rescue boats. So the number was, the number, we started with 7, 2 for search and rescue, and then 5 for patrol. And then in recent times, we have also acquired 2 more for patrols. And I mentioned that we are yet to commission those ones. The one christened Nene Azuma Tekole after the Kono of Manye Krobo, and then the other one christened Nab Ayeta Azantlo after a chief from the Busa traditional area. These 2 are yet to be commissioned. There is one that we are taking delivery of very soon. That one is called the Ya Asantua. It was manufactured in Turkey, and we are yet to take delivery of that one together with a daughter ship that would come with it. That one is Christian Theodosia Oku. So yes, these are the numbers that we have. In terms of the cost, I didn't expect questions on cost, so I can't give you cost of now. But if you pass by the office, we can always let you into. Besides, we are putting them, some of these things are on the website, so we should be able to get them there. Then in terms of piracy and the total number of arrests, yes, we indicated that somewhere in between 2015 and 16 there was an arrest, but looking at the law, we could not deal with them in Ghana, and therefore we had to take them to Nigeria, where their legislative framework permits them to handle them or deal with them effectively. But as I also mentioned, since they were taken there, we haven't gotten full details as to what actually transpired. Then you also want to know where the nationality of this. Somebody asked that question in Twi. That for us is not our concern. Color, creed, nationality doesn't come into play here. Once it's a crime, we want to be able to deal with that. If you do it within our maritime jurisdiction or our territorial waters, we want to be able to apprehend you and deal with you, whether you are from Ghana, whether you are from Cote d'Ivoire or whatever. So nationality is not of interest as far as fighting crime is concerned. Then the issue about the hyson, these weeds that have grown in the lake, it is one of the reasons for which we have acquired the trash skimmers. It has a facility that is able to cut this. And in some jurisdictions, this grass is actually used after it's been harvested in the manufacture of fertilizer. But for us now, what we want to do is to be able to remove this hyson as soon as the skimmers are deployed. Then the issue of the tree stumps, whether we are going to leave them at the behest of the communities or we are going to sell them. You see, there's this misconception that every tree stump that is removed from the lake has some commercial value and ought to be sold so that money is made. It's like those who are into the timber business. When you go into the forest, you go around searching till you get the trees that you require. Our concern in terms of the site that we are undertaking is to provide safety and security. And therefore we harvest everything that we find. And they are mostly stumps. We have shown the pictures. As I speak to you, the recent ones that were done are still lodged at Dambai and Yeji. We can facilitate your visit so that you go and see them for yourself. They are not what most people are thinking of as being of a certain value which ought to be sold and all that. So a decision has even been made to go and give these ones to the communities along the lake, shared amongst them the chiefs and other opinion leaders. The first ones that were removed, we did a similar thing, we did the same. So these ones we are going to do exactly that. So these are not tree stumps that are going to be sold for some economic value, no.
No, don't worry. Don't worry, I'm going to take the final batch. So I'll go back to my 2 ladies to ask final, or yours has been answered now. So then I'll give the final one to Sarah after this gentleman. So gentlemen, you have the final question and then I'll give the final word to Sarah.
My name is Akokraba from Kasapa FM. As it stands now, Ghana, we don't have a vessel meant for economic activities. Do we have plans to acquire one? Thank you very much.
Vessel for economic activity? We just to take that quickly, we are not a business concern. We are not into this. We will provide safety and security, create the necessary or conducive environment that enables these things to occur. And therefore, businessmen who want to invest in that area could then, together with partners, other banks or other institutions that are interested in investing in that area, go into that.
You are a regulator.
We are a regulator.
That's a question for the transport minister when he does come here.
Yes.
Sarah, I'll give the final word and then we'll wrap up.
Please, you said the projects are currently ongoing, so you do not have a cost to it, but I believe there was a budget for the plan estimated how much it's going to cost, if you can share that with us.
I don't have that here. That's
okay, and then Della, very quickly, let me be very quick, yes.
So, a year ago, we had an accident. A young man inhaled ammonia from one of the vessels, and he died.
Which vessels are we talking about?
At the fishing harbor.
Okay.
And I knew GMA was doing a safety audit on that particular vessel. I want to know
if there's any outcome.
Yes, if there's any outcome. And then also on the issue of deck, is it hand decks? The guys who work on mostly these vessels, you know, they have no training. I don't know what, and usually they are just picked from the community to get on board these vessels, and then that is when we hear issues of abuses and all that. So as a regulator, how are you collaborating with industry to get these young men trained so that these issues of safety and all that are addressed?
I hear you. Very quickly, let me give the final word to this gentleman in black, and then, yeah.
Good morning, Honorable. My name is Al-Hassan Membasir. Along the
from which media house?
Marhaba FM.
Marhaba.
Yeah. Along the Volta Lake, there are some towns like Atimpoku, Akuse, and the rest. They are also having this kind of water hyacinths. So I want to know what you are doing as an outfit to solve those problems. Thank you.
DG, wrap up for us.
Yes. So as I said, we have taken delivery of the tree skimmers, and that is the work they do, harvesting this and removing garbage and marine litter from the oceans and from the lake. So they will be deployed there where we find the water hyacinth or this water grass. We certainly will be removing them to ensure that we provide safety of navigation. So those areas will definitely be attracting our attention. Then in terms of the issue of somebody working in a vessel having inhaled gas, we have the officer specifically in charge of that here. So Naval Captain Ankama, if you could address that matter. Then the deckhands. You take the deckhands is for Boachi, and then the issue of the inhalation, you did that, so you give those two answers. We have spoken about the water hyacinth already, so these two others, you take.
Very well, very quickly. We're out of time already. Very quickly.
Thank you very much, Minister, for giving me the opportunity. Actually, the issue happened, as was said, where somebody inhaled ammonia while they were working in a fishing vessel that had come for discharge of fish. And the ammonia is the gas that was used to cool to give the frozen compartment for the fish. So at the end of it all, when they finished and they were cleaning the space, it looks like something happened. The pipe that were conveying this thing were weak, a little bit weak. So they gave way, ammonia leaked, those who were working in there got affected, and somebody died out of it. The issue is that 2 investigations went on. There was the criminal aspect of investigation, and there was the marine investigative aspect of it that GMA actually supervised and did. And one thing I want to say is that when it comes to such accidents and their investigation, GMA's investigations don't have any criminal aspect, and by international regulations and best practices, you can't even use evidence that is procured from there for prosecuting anybody for that issue. Ours is to get to the facts so that we can prevent such issues or incidents happening in future.
So when you investigated, for example, it's obvious that there was negligence involved.
That one goes to the police to do the criminal investigation. So the two are separated. So that
even if it's a civil matter, let's say, I mean, it is up to the party that is offended to take civil action against the vessel.
Yes, please. But GMA as an authority, we go in to find the cause and then to come up with measures to prevent such things from happening in future. Then those who are affected could pursue
So in this instance, when you concluded your investigation,
well, we concluded the investigation and we realized, as I summarized earlier, that there were some weak pipes that came in, that gave in. So we came up with measures. We made sure that these things were amended. Most of the pipes in the vessel were changed, and we came up with measures to ensure that such things will not happen in future by provision of, oxygen masks for people working in such environments, and also test equipment to make sure that all their pipes and all those things are strong. All these measures were put in place.
Do you know whether any criminal or civil action has been taken outside your investigation? Do you know?
The authority was following what was happening at the other side, at the Marine Police, and they took it up to also investigate. So at a point, they said that they couldn't, that is what we got from the police. There didn't seem to be any criminal intent. It was just an accident. The thing just got burst as a result of the pressure they were using to clean the space.
Very well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Captain, is there something else you have to say? Or yes, very quickly.
The next one is...
Yeah.
Yes, regarding the training of deckhands, a course has been developed, and so for anybody to get on board a vessel now, the person is required to undergo training at the regional maritime university.
Once again, we want to thank the Honorable Minister, Mr. Kojo Ponkrumah, and his staff for providing us with this wonderful platform to tell the country what it is that we're set up to do and what we have done so far. The assurance is that as an authority charged with regulating, monitoring, and coordinating that activities within the industry, the maritime industry, we shall continue to ensure that in terms of safety and security of shipping, we do our optimum best to ensure that our ports become the preferred ports of destination, not only in the sub-region, but within the continent. This we are poised to do. And our doors are also open to those of you who still have questions to ask or whose questions were not fully answered. You can always call on us either through the PR unit or call on any of the deputies or myself for clarifications if there are issues that you still have and that you would want clarification. We want to thank you very much and wish everybody well.
Thank you very much. Mr. Alonsi is the Director General. Mr. Alonsi, thank you to you and your team that's been with us, including Dr. Alex Eya, Director Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation. I missed your name earlier. Thanks to all of you who have been with us. Colleagues, thanks to you. I want to also mention that I'm excited at the very, very deeply researched questions that you put forward to our colleagues from the Ghana Maritime Authority this morning. We look forward to engaging you, I think, before the week is over on some other matters. Thank you and wish you all the best.